Hi, welcome to Surviving Motherhood. Hey, I wonder if you're like me. Do you ever have a hard time getting to sleep at night? Sometimes I could lay in bed for over an hour, thinking about things I need to do the next day, wondering about, is everything going to work out with this situation? How am I going to handle that circumstance? And then to make it worse, I'll look at the clock and I'll say, I have to get up in 5 hours. I need more sleep than this. How is this going to work? And it's just a bad cycle I get in sometimes. But the good news is I just added verse 18 of Psalm 139 to my memory bank. And I think God just gave me a sleep aid in that. Okay, I'll have to back up to verse 17 for you to kind of set you up for this. Verse 17 says, "How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them." And then verse 18 says, "If I were to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you." And so I'm sitting here thinking about, what does "when I awake, I am still with you" have to do with God's thoughts? And then this is my thought. Okay, so sometimes when I was a little kid and I couldn't fall asleep, I was told you have to count sheep. You just lay there and picture these sheep jumping over a fence and you keep counting them and eventually you fall asleep, right? Okay, so maybe David is saying, if I were to count your thoughts, O God, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Is David laying there in bed at night, counting God's thoughts until he falls asleep? You see where I'm going with this? When I'm laying in my bed and I'm worrying about tomorrow's situation and next week's circumstance, what if I were to count God's thoughts? Because you know what? He's already thinking about it. He's already thinking about the stuff that's going on tomorrow and next week and next year. God's thinking about it all. And so I have determined, if I lay in bed and I think about God's thoughts and I count His thoughts and I focus on His thoughts rather than my worries, I might just sleep peacefully. So that's what I'm going to try. I want to encourage you to do it too. If you're having trouble sleeping, try counting God's thoughts. And when you awake, you'll still be with Him. Have a wonderful, Jesus-full day.